Whereas the second COVID surge was brutal where the national capital was concerned. We were pretty much on our knees where there was an oxygen crisis, there was a bed crisis, there were no ICU beds available for days at end. What we saw in the national capital in the second wave was carnage, it was mayhem. Has the Delhi government learned lessons? It says it has and is now prepping for a possible third wave.
The deadly second COVID wave is ebbing in Delhi. Overwhelmed hospitals now have vacant beds. Frequency of the frantic SOS oxygen calls have reduced, and the overburdened capital healthcare system is finally breathing a little easy. But the Kejriwal government is not letting its guard down. Learning its lessons from the second wave, the capital is ramping up its infrastructure to prepare for a possible third wave. The Delhi government has set up a 13-member committee to prepare an action plan after assessing the current status and projected requirement of health infrastructure such as hospitals, oxygen plants and drug supplies in the city. Another 8-member panel has been tasked with devising a plan for reducing the impact of the third wave. This panel will also look into the specialized needs of children in the city, as several reports suggest that the third wave will impact kids the most. A medical panel has also been formed solely to focus on oxygen requirement.
4 सदस्य कमेटी बना के इसकी पूरी जांच की जाएगी कि अगर कहीं से इस तरह का कोई सूचना, इस तरह का कोई क्लेम, इस तरह का कोई दावा आता है कि यहाँ पर ऑक्सीजन की कमी की वजह से किसी मरीज की डेथ हुई, तो उसकी पूरी जांच की जाए.
The daily COVID cases in the capital have been below the 1,000 mark for almost a week now, and the positivity rate is also below 1%. But the Delhi government is leaving no stone unturned to prevent a rerun of the COVID second wave.
Out of the 58 PSA plants, only 9 are operational right now, but the Delhi government is currently ensuring that about 44 such PSA plants are made operational latest by July end of this year to help fight the impending third wave of COVID-19. With Ajay Thakur, Milan Sharma for India Today.
Not just in Delhi, viewers. What we saw in India will be etched and burn into our mind space forever. The heartbreaks we saw, the people as they died because of lack of health care was criminal. Now there's been a study which finds out that the Delta variant is possibly responsible for what we saw in the second wave, the kind of import of the virus, the brunt of the second tsunami that we saw was possibly because of the Delta variant of the virus, primarily because it's found now 50% to be more infectious than the other variants. And a stretched healthcare system led to that many more fatalities. My colleague Sneha with this report.
It infects more, 50% more than the Alpha or the UK variant, and it took over Delhi in the month of March. The B.1.617 variant, called the Indian variant, ravaged Delhi city and other parts of North India, leading to a sudden spike in cases and deaths in the month of March, April and May. It indeed was the variant first sequenced in India, which means it was discovered in India in September last year, and infamously called the Indian variant. Now rechristened to Delta B.1.617, and its lineage B.1.617.2 is what led to mayhem, say scientists. The study accessed by India Today has been done by a consortium of labs and India's National Centre for Disease Control, establishing this well beyond doubt. Here are the highlights. Delhiites had high seropositivity of 56%, which means that 56% of Delhiites had high antibodies against COVID-19. But this did not protect the population. Until February, B.1.1.7 or the UK variant was dominant in northern India. After March, B.1.617 took over. The March outbreak was because of B.1.617 and its lineages. This has higher transmissibility but does not increase severity of the infection. So in spite of higher transmissibility, the variant was not actually causing more deaths. The increase in deaths can be attributed to a stretched healthcare system, the report says. It also says that most states like Delhi, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Odisha and Telangana are seeing more cases of this variant, which means more infections.
By and large, it is either already the most dominant in state by state or it is rising. Given its advantage over the other variants in terms of being able to replace them because of high transmissibility, it will be a relatively safe guess to say that in time to come, this will be the dominant strain wherever it is not already.
The study also shows that fully vaccinated breakthroughs are because of this variant. The country has seen several cases of infections after vaccinations, all caused by this variant. It is infecting even those who have got 2 doses of the vaccine.
All variants, such as the B1351 from South Africa, B117 from UK and B16172 from India, all of these variants are known to escape or have some ability to bypass antibodies to past infection or vaccination.
Vaccination would offer better protection compared to any of the variants infecting and the herd immunity induced by them. Go forward in understanding the total protection offered by vaccination as the only reliable goal as we move forward.
Importantly, this study seems to be suggesting that prior infections are offering just no protection against this new variant, as has been in the case in the national capital. So if you've had COVID-19 in the past, there is a possibility of reinfection from this new variant. Also, partial vaccination is certainly not the solution to this. Experts are saying that there needs to be a global and a comprehensive response for the containment of infection being caused by this dominant variant. In New Delhi, Sneha Moldani for India Today.
Because there's always been two sides to rise in technology, or when we make huge leaps where technology is concerned. There's been now a lot of questions being raised on the technology where 5G comes into play. It's going to make things faster with the bandwidth that it offers, but there are many others who are raising health concerns. We get you a complete report on what the 5G controversy is all about.
Driverless cars roaming around on Indian roads. AIIMS experts performing remote robotic surgeries on a patient in a hospital. Virtual shopping at malls around the country. Crystal clear high-definition video calls. All this and much more will be a reality with 5G, the next generation of mobile technology. But the technology is drawing a lot of friction from environmentalists and nature lovers, calling it a potential health risk for humans as well. After Hollywood actors like John Cusack, Bollywood star Juhi Chawla is the latest celebrity to join the League of Stars against 5G. The issue has received national attention after Juhi's Delhi High Court hearing went viral, thanks to a fan who invaded the virtual session to serenade her with her film songs. Incidentally, Juhi Chawla's petition has been dismissed by the court, but the issue is still extremely serious.
We're not attacking 5G.
Okay.
If I can sum up the position of the plaintiffs in one line, it's this. Why should it be a matter to be deferred till millions have died? It's what happened with tobacco. It's what happened with asbestos. And it'll happen with the cellular telecommunication.
More than 30% of the world's countries now have 5G technology, led by China, which has 341 5G cities, the US has 279, South Korea 85, and the UK catching up with 54 cities. In India, 5G trials are likely to begin soon, and the tech could be rolled out by the end of 2021. But the perceived risks have divided experts worldwide. Two key US organizations, the Center for Disease Control and Environmental Protection Agency, believe that radio waves produced by 5G are safe, as they are non-ionizing in nature. But a group of Indian scientists argue that the theory cannot be trusted. About 2 years ago, more than half a dozen renowned scientists from institutions like the Bhabha Atomic Research Centre, ICMR, CSIR and others had written to the Government of India warning it against rushing to embrace 5G.
We've had cellular technology for over 25 years in this country, and we've not noted any direct deleterious health effects. Having said that, I would still caution that we should utilize as little of talk time as is possible and use hands-free devices if we have them.
The World Health Organization says there simply isn't enough research to declare 5G dangerous or safe. In a report, the world body says health-related conclusions are drawn from studies performed across the entire radio spectrum, but so far only a few studies have been carried out at the frequencies to be used by 5G. It is conducting a health risk assessment from exposure to radio frequencies, including 5G, to be published by 2022.
Every 100 meters you want a 5G. Because of this, there's huge attenuation. Every wall will block it. The reason they have to have so much density, both of the base stations, which will have 30,000 watts per 100 megahertz release, we are talking about a totally heavy electromagnetic pollution. We had carbon pollution with coal. We had chemical pollution. We had genetic pollution. This will be electromagnetic pollution. It needs to be assessed before the damage is done.
The 5G appeal prepared by scientists and doctors has called upon the European Union and the United Nations for a moratorium on the rollout of the technology. So far, 417 experts from across the globe have signed the petition. Their numbers continue to add up. With India headed towards the 5G regime, could there be more red flags and stumbling blocks?
Supporters of 5G say that the technology is safe, but their claim is not backed by data and conclusive research. A reason why voices of concern continue to grow to demand halt of 5G deployment until a framework is in place and guidelines considering effects on health and environment are in place. With Anisha Mathur, this is Anand Patel in New Delhi for India Today.
The Congress doesn't have too many states on its hands, and the ones it has is seeing massive amounts of infighting. The latest we've seen in the case of Rajasthan is now the case of Punjab, where the infighting within the Punjab Congress unit has come to such a pass that the Chief Minister, Amrinder Singh, has been in the national capital meeting with the Congress High Command, a delegation to try and sort out matters back home.
There are still more than 8 months left for elections in Punjab, but rumblings have already started in the Congress state unit. Chief Minister Amrinder Singh touched down in Delhi to quell dissent within the party in the state. Congress MLAs have been upset with Amrinder Singh, claiming that his government was being run by bureaucrats. The Bargadi sacrilege issue has further divided the ruling party. The Congress High Command has tasked a 3-member panel of Mallikarjun Kharge, JP Agarwal and Harish Rawat to resolve the disunity in the party. The panel met with Punjab CM Amrinder Singh as well as MLAs including Navjot Singh Sidhu to sort out the differences.
लोगों की कई सवाल थे, तो वो सवाल हमने मुख्यमंत्री के सामने रखे हैं और मुख्यमंत्री ने कहा है कि वो इसका समाधान निकालेंगे। जो भी कहा, जिसने कहा वो उनको बता दिया, उन्होंने अपना वो दे दिया जो एक्सप्लेनेशन थी, बस।
रिपोर्ट तैयार कर रहे हैं आप लोग?
हाँ जी हाँ।
अच्छा, कब तक भेजेंगे हाईकमान को?
कल परसों तक भेज देंगे।
The panel is likely to submit a report this weekend to Sonia Gandhi on the rift, and in all likelihood there will be changes in the cabinet and in the party.
क्या विचित्र राजनीति चल रही है। पूरा पंजाब कोरोना से प्रभावित है। आज तो पूरा पंजाब पार्टी और सरकार दिल्ली में है पिछले 3-4 दिन से। वहां पंजाब को कौन देखेगा?
Amrinder is unbending, ready to fight it out with the Congress High Command, even if it means a split in the party. Before he met the 3-member panel in Delhi, The Chief Minister even posed with rebel AAP MLAs Sukhpal Singh Khera and 2 other legislators who have joined the Congress. But he has not answered any questions on what his game plan is. He is keeping his cards close to his chest.
हमारी 6 महीने के अंदर इलेक्शनें आ रही हैं and this is introspection जो हम अपनी पार्टी में करते हैं और वो ही किया है हमने.
The Chief Minister has even projected himself as Punjab the Captain on his Facebook page, sending a clear signal that he will be the CM face in the next elections too.
4 days of peacemaking exercise to quell infighting in Punjab unit has come to an end, and the ball rests in the court of party high command. Sources say Badal's escaping charge sheet in the sacrilege case remains the central issue, and there's pressure on Captain Amrinder to deliver pre-poll promises as the countdown to 2022 polls has begun. With camera person Helen, this is Anand Patel in New Delhi for India Today.
Warm welcome back, viewers. You're watching our Fact Check segment where we bust certain news masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is, many can suggest, you might have seen it on various WhatsApp groups, fake news that's making rounds. And this news seems to suggest that WHO has called coronavirus a seasonal disease. This, viewers, is lethal knowledge which is fake, because we did a fact check on it. The WHO has come out and very strongly said they made no such claim. Coronavirus is here. We are still in the middle of a pandemic and it's not seasonal. With that fact check, it's time for us to go into a quick break. Do stay with us. Updates continue.